Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on what I call my hodgepodge Royal Paladin Alfred deck. So this is the Aichi 4.0 deck or whatever you want to call it. It's a hodgepodge deck. So it's basically the deck that has all the leftover Royal Paladin cards that I never really use. So these are either cards that people that locals that weren't going to use, so they just kind of like threw them away. So I was like, let me borrow them, and I'll put together a deck, and this is what I came up with. So some of these cards are mine, but some of them aren't, so I'll have to take it apart at some point. But anyway, this is what I would consider a not so competitive Royal Paladin deck. It's really just for fun. It's kind of like one of those decks that you'd see in the show where it's like scripted, and yeah, it has plot armor in order for it to win. Having said that, it can still potentially win, like any Vanguard deck can, due to the luck factor with triggers and the random process of numbers and stuff like that. But it's a fun deck, and it's a good deck to basically like make you learn how to play, make the most optimal play, because your resources are really limited. So let's get right into it. So to start off, 1 Light Source Seeker Alfred Exceed. So this guy's actually really hard to find. This is actually my contribution to the deck. So the Alfred Exceed, I only have one, so I was like, I asked people around, help me build a deck that uses this card, because he was in the movie and he looks really cool. He's like a flying superhero Gundam thing. So I wanted to build a deck that actually uses him. So Light Source Alfred Exceed, or Light Source Seeker Alfred Exceed. With the deck, having said that, you can't actually use his effect, like his effect to gain 1,000, because this is not a Seeker deck. In fact, Blaster Blade Seeker is not even in this deck, but Blaster Blade is, so you can't get the Seeker skill. There is 4 Seeker heals, so if you do somehow damage check 2 heals and heal twice or whatever, you can special counterblast 2 Seeker to call a Seeker, but there's no Seekers, so you'll never be able to use that effect. So Alfred Exceed, he's just in there for whatever. Next, 2 King Adjutant Knight Galhail. He's just in here just to showcase cards that were in the Alfred, the whatever booster, the one that had this guy came out with deleters and Royal Paladins. That booster, the one that everybody apparently skipped and said was terrible. I actually skipped it as well, but not because I thought it was terrible. I just skipped it because I wasn't really interested in Royal Paladin and then deleters for Link Joker. I was interested more in the Fighters Collection stuff, and then at the time, the Aquaforce stuff that came out immediately after it, or shortly after it. So he's in here to help you superior ride Alfred. So if you misride, if you ride him as a grade 3, you can counterblast to superior call a card with Alfred in the name. So you can potentially search out this guy and superior ride him, or you can superior ride this guy. So I am running 3 King of Knights Alfred. He is the original Alfred from set 1. He got reprinted. This is the reprint from that extra booster that I just mentioned. He is a 10k though, so, and he cannot be boosted, but he does have a pretty decent skill. There's a reason why he cannot be boosted, because he will always be striking for 20, and if you have a certain tech card behind him, he becomes 21. So 3 King of Knights Alfred. But usually, from my experience playing this deck, if I ride this guy, I'm almost, unless he's damage checked or unless he's in my hand, I almost always ride Exceed, just because he looks cooler than this guy. But yeah. The only other grade 3 is 2 King of Knights Vanguard Azel. He is, he's the Legion. And then King of Knights Alfred is Legion mate. So he was originally a promo from the Legion campaign. Those remember like when CEO Amaterasu got her Legion, Oruhime, and then Riviere got hers. And then this guy was the one for King of Knights Alfred. I never got this guy, but now I have access to him temporarily, so I wanted to film the deck. So basically the art now matches for them. If you ride this guy, then you'll just Legion Alfred and everything will be fine. If you ride this guy, you go into this guy. If you ride this guy, then you just stay on this guy. If you ride this guy, there is still things you can do. It's not the end of the world. It's just, this is kind of like the least optimal one. So it teaches you how to play the deck. Like, it teaches you how to, like, think strategies. So that's why it's kind of like a training deck, sort of. For grade 2s, 2 Blaster Blade of the original Blaster Blade. So this one is my trial deck one. This one is borrowed. He is actually from this is the original one from BT1. I haven't seen this card in so long, but yeah. So 2 of these, 2 Blaster Blade. He is the Legion mate for Alfred Exeve. And then Alfred, King of Knights Alfred is the Legion mate for Ezel. So it's interesting, there's like 2 different Legions in the deck, but it's such a weird lineup. And then, as you saw, 1 Blaster Blade Spirit. This is my 1 Blaster Blade Spirit because I couldn't find a Blaster Blade anywhere. So I just took this because this does, you cannot use this as a Legion mate, but you can use this for the skills that call Blaster Blade cards out. So an example of that is this next guy. So 4 Swordsman of Light, Imes. He can actually superior call any of these 3 guys when his attack hits the Vanguard. And he's in an 11k when you have a Vanguard with Alfred in the name. So you do kind of want to ride Alfred regardless. You kind of want to have one of these 2 on the field. Either him as main Vanguard or him in Legion. Next, 2 Swordsman of Light, Blaster, Axe, Grawl. He's just here for power gain. Nothing really more to say about him. He can hit 21k relatively easily on the turns where you're calling out units. And you have if you have Alfred as a Vanguard. And then 2 Benin, Sage of Salvation Benin. This is actually a card that I feel has some potential. Like, in playtesting this deck, I feel like this card, even though it's 8k, the reason why he's 8k is because he's actually a pretty good card. So he's good because he is one of the cards that Royal Paladin has that can superior call any unit that has a 6k attack. So that means usually he'll be calling the grade 1s, and Royal Paladins have a hard time calling grade 1s. So he kind of helps fix that. He does give you access to some pretty good tech cards as well. So 2 of him. For grade 1s, I am running my Flash Shield Assault. So these are the original ones from BT01. Assault's in here just because it's Aichi style deck. You can run the other one, the one that unflips, if you want, because the deck is actually really counterblast heavy, so you could benefit from that one a lot. Although, I do want to mention that in playtesting, I've played enough matches now where that Perfect Guard G skill usually will not really unflip more than like 1 or 2 cards. But usually, mostly it's like 1 card at best. Sometimes you'll never even see it. Like, games will be over fast enough where that card will never actually unflip anything. So, 4 Swordsman of Light, Junos. He is same thing as this guy. He's a power gainer, but he's a grade 1. And then 2 of a really nice card for Alfred, for the original Alfred. So, Swordsman of Light, Blaster up here, Laura. So I like her because she fixes his 10k and makes him an 11k permanently when she sits behind him. And on top of that, she has resist, so Kagero and Link Joker cannot, or even Gear Chronicle, they can't remove her from the field. The only deck that can get rid of her are the Witches. They can actually call a grade 0 on the rearguard circle that she's on, because they target rearguard circles, not rearguards. They target the circles that have a rearguard on them. Next, 2 Hidden Sage Mirren. This is the card that I was talking about. So with this guy, so the sages can call themselves out, and sages, I like how they make them do like drawing cards and stuff. So this is the Dendray clone for Royal Paladins. And the nice thing about this deck is this deck can actually utilize this card better than any other Royal Paladin deck, or at least decks that run this guy. And then 2 more, Knight of Gale. He's just defensive style play. Another 6k target for him in the event where you can't get this, or you don't have any soul for whatever reason because you spammed this guy's skill or something like that. So just 2 of these, just tech choices here. So you can see the deck is very random with a lineup. It's got like lots of, it's like 2, 2, 2, 2, and then like 4 and 4 for the ones, and then the 2 lineup, the grade 2 lineup is also kind of random. It's all over the place. So for the trigger lineup, it's the 4 Margles, because he got reprinted in there, and then 4 of this new critical that was in there, the 4 of the Atmile Trial Deck critical, and the Seeker Heal. So just standard 4, 8, 4, and then the Alfred starter from that set. So it's not GB1 restricted, which I like. You counterblast 1, put in the soul. If you have Vanguard with Alfred, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less. So you can call it grade 1. It's worth mentioning that. It's grade 2 or less. For the Stride lineup, I am running the Transmigratory Dragon, Holy Squire Dragon. Just 2 because I only have 2. But he is usually going to be your second Stride. And 1 Blade. And 1 Samuel. So same as my Atmile deck. I just carried these over. And then the 4 Atmile, because you can use him in any Royal Paladin deck. So, and he's a pretty decent card too. Like, he does help you fix fields and stuff. So that's basically it. Let me know what you guys think of the Alfred style. How do you feel Alfred stacks up against Atmile in the current meta, or even Thingsaver and Jewel Knights and Sanctuary Guard? Let me know in the comments below what you think is the best Royal Paladin deck right now, in order of best to worst, or I guess strongest to weakest. I'm curious to know what you guys think, and hope you guys enjoyed that video. This was kind of like one of those more like casual style fun decks. It's not really meant to take this to a tournament with such a random lineup, but it has surprisingly done well. I did manage to beat the Cross, and haven't managed to beat Aquaforce yet though. But yeah, I have managed to grind out games against some other clans like Your Chronicle. So let me know what you guys think with this type of deck, with this all kinds of like tech cards and stuff, how it can, does it help create different kind of weird plays and mind games with the opponent. And hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.